I'm glad we're able to get rid of her once and for all. With this, no one will be able to find her.
Hello guys, welcome to my channel where interesting stories of family, love and justice are told. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, share it with your friends and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. The village of Nalendi had never seen anything like the night Maya was born. While most children entered the world with cries and wrinkled skin, Maya arrived differently. Her mother's screams had barely faded when the midwife gasped, nearly dropping the newborn. Cascading from the baby's head was hair unlike anything seen before. Long, impossibly long for a newborn, and glowing with a soft golden light that filled the entire birthing room. "It's a blessing," the village elder had whispered, touching the luminous strands with trembling fingers. "This child is touched by the spirits." But not everyone saw it as a blessing. In the next room, 3 older sisters, Tara, Bella, and Marion, pressed their ears against the door, their faces twisted with something darker than curiosity. They had heard the gasps, seen the golden light seeping under the doorway, and felt something cold settle in their chests. Tara, the eldest at 15, was the first to speak. "Another sister, as if we needed one more mouth to feed." "Did you see that light?" Bella whispered, her voice tight. "What kind of freak is she?" Marion, only 9 herself, said nothing, but her small hands clenched into fists. From that night forward, Maya's hair became the center of everything. It grew faster than normal hair, reaching her waist by age 3, her ankles by 5. But stranger still, it changed colors with her emotions, turning rose pink when she laughed, deep blue when she felt sad, and blazing gold when she was truly happy. The village children would gather around her, mesmerized, begging to touch the magical strands. Parents brought their sick children to her, believing her presence brought healing. Maya's father would lift her onto his shoulders during festivals, her glowing hair like a beacon of joy. "My special girl," he would say, kissing her forehead. "You're our little miracle." Each word of praise was a knife in her sisters' hearts. Tara watched as their father spent his earnings on special oils for Maya's hair. Bella noticed how their mother's eyes lit up only when Maya entered the room. Marion observed how the boy she liked couldn't stop staring at Maya during village gatherings, even though Maya was 5 years younger. "It's not fair," Bella hissed one evening as they watched their parents braid Maya's hair with silver threads for a ceremony. "We were here first. We work harder. We help more. But everything is always about her and that ridiculous hair." "She didn't ask to be born like that," Marion said quietly, though even she couldn't hide the bitterness in her voice. "Doesn't matter," Tara replied, her jaw set. "She's ruining everything. Before she came, Mother used to sing with me. Father used to take me to market. Now we're invisible." The truth was more complicated, though none of them could see it. Their parents loved all their daughters, but Maya's uniqueness demanded extra attention, protection from those who feared what they didn't understand, care for hair that tangled and glowed at inconvenient times, and constant reassurance that she was normal despite her extraordinary gift. But to 3 young girls who felt forgotten, it looked like favoritism, and favoritism left to fester turned to poison. Maya, for her part, tried desperately to win her sister's affection. She would leave wildflowers on their sleeping mats, offer to do their chores, and share the sweets villagers gave her. But kindness from someone you resent feels like pity, and pity breeds more resentment. "Stop trying so hard," Tara snapped one evening as she shoved away a basket of berries Maya had picked. "We don't need your charity." Maya's hair flickered gray, the color of hurt, and she ran off before her sisters could see her tears. By the time Maya turned 12, the divide became a chasm. Her sisters barely spoke to her except to give orders or make cutting remarks. They excluded her from their conversations, their plans, their lives. Maya ate her meals in silence, slept in the corner farthest from their mats, and spent most of her time helping her aging parents or wandering the village alone. "Why don't your sisters play with you?" a village child once asked innocently. Maya smiled, her hair dimming to a dull bronze. "They're busy with grown-up things." But children know when they are unwanted, and that knowledge sits heavy in the chest, pressing down with every breath. Then came the day that changed everything. The Festival of Lights was approaching, and the village was alive with preparation. Maya's father announced that he would commission a special dress for Maya to wear, silk dyed the color of sunset, embroidered with golden threads to match her hair. "She'll be the star of the festival," he said proudly, not noticing how his 3 older daughters stiffened at the table. That night, after their parents had fallen asleep, the 3 sisters gathered in the darkness. Tara's face was hard as stone, Bella's eyes glittered with something dangerous, and even Marion wore a grim determination. "We can't live like this anymore," Tara whispered. "Always second, always forgotten, always in her shadow." "What are you suggesting?" Marion asked, though something in her voice said she already knew. Tara leaned forward, and in the flickering candlelight, she looked almost like a stranger. "There's an old well in the forest, deep, abandoned, overgrown. No one goes there anymore." The words hung in the air like smoke. Bella's breath caught. Marion's hands trembled, but none of them said no. "Tomorrow," Tara continued, her voice steady and cold, "we'll tell how we found a secret grove of crystal flowers. She'll follow us anywhere if we pretend to be kind. And then," she didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to. In the corner of the room, Maya slept, her hair glowing softly in the darkness, pulsing gently with each peaceful breath. She dreamed of the day her sisters would finally love her, never knowing that they were dreaming too of a life without her. Sometimes the cruelest betrayals come not from strangers. The morning sun had barely risen when Tara shook Maya awake, her touch surprisingly gentle. Maya's hair, still drowsy, glowed a soft amber as she blinked up at her elder sister in confusion. "Maya," Tara whispered, a smile playing on her lips, the first genuine smile Maya had seen from her in years. "Wake up. We want to show you something special." Maya sat up quickly, her heart leaping with hope. "We?" "All 3 of us," Bella added, appearing beside Tara with Marian hovering behind. "We found something in the forest yesterday, something magical. We thought of you immediately." Maya's hair blazed brilliant gold, betraying her joy. For so long she had dreamed of this moment, her sisters including her, wanting her company, thinking of her with kindness. She scrambled to her feet, nearly tripping over her own hair in her excitement. "Really? You want me to come with you?" "Of course," Marian said, though she couldn't quite meet Maya's eyes. "You're our sister, aren't you?" They set out before their parents woke, moving through the village as dawn painted the sky in shades of pink and orange. Maya walked between Bella and Marion, her hair streaming behind her like a banner of pure happiness. She chatted excitedly, asking questions about the surprise, thanking them repeatedly for including her. Her sisters responded with tight smiles and short answers, their steps purposeful as they led her deeper into the forest. The path grew narrower, the trees denser. Maya had never ventured this far into the woods before. Strange birds called overhead, and the underbrush grew thick with thorns and twisted vines. But she didn't care. She was with her sisters. Finally, they wanted her around. "How much farther?" she asked, slightly breathless as they climbed a steep hill. "Just ahead," Tara replied, her voice flat. "Through that clearing." They emerged into a small opening surrounded by ancient trees. In the center, barely visible beneath years of overgrowth and fallen leaves, was the mouth of an old well. The stones around its edge were crumbling, and darkness yawned from its depths like a hungry mouth. Maya's hair flickered uncertain yellow. "I don't see any flowers." "They're down there," Bella said quickly, pointing to the well. crystal flowers that only grow in the darkness. They glow like your hair. We thought you'd love them." Down there? Maya peered over the edge, seeing nothing but blackness. A cold draft rose from below, carrying the smell of damp earth and decay. "I don't think—" "Don't you trust us?" Tara's voice had an edge now. "After we brought you all this way? After we finally tried to do something nice for you?" The words stung. Maya's hair dimmed to grey. "No, I trust you. It looks dangerous." "We'll lower you down," Marian said, her voice barely a whisper. "With rope. It's not far, and we'll pull you right back up." Maya looked at her 3 sisters, standing in a semicircle around her. Something felt wrong. The way they couldn't quite look at her, the tension in their shoulders, the way Marian's hands shook. But she had waited so long for their acceptance. She couldn't ruin this moment with suspicion. "Okay," she agreed, her hair turning a hopeful pale gold. "If you promise to pull me up quickly." "We promise," Tara said, and the lie tasted like ash on her tongue. They had no rope. What happened next occurred so fast that Maya barely understood it. Tara grabbed her shoulders, Bella caught her legs, and before Maya could scream, before her hair could even change color to reflect her terror, they lifted her over the edge and dropped her into the darkness. The fall lasted only seconds, but it felt like forever. Maya's hair streamed upward, glowing bright white with fear, briefly illuminating the narrow shaft before she hit bottom with a sickening thud. Pain exploded through her body. She tried to scream, but the wind had been knocked from her lungs. Above, 3 faces peered down at her, small circles of light against the darkness. "Why?" Maya gasped when she could finally speak. "Why would you do this?" "Because we are tired of living in your shadow," Tara called down, her voice echoing strangely. "Tired of being forgotten, tired of you." "But I never wanted to take anything from you," Maya cracked with desperation. "I love you. You are my sisters." "Exactly. We're your sisters. We were your parents' daughters first, but you came along with your freak hair and your special blessing, and suddenly we didn't matter anymore." "That's not true." Tears streamed down Maya's face, and her hair pulsed with deep blue sorrow. "Please, don't leave me here. I'll go away. I'll cut my hair. I'll do anything." For a moment, Marion faltered. She saw her youngest sister far below, small and broken and begging, and something twisted in her chest. "Maybe we should—" "No." Tara's hand gripped Marion's shoulder like a vice. "We've come this far, we finish it." "I'll tell," Maya screamed, panic overtaking her now. "When someone finds me, I'll tell everyone what you did." Tara's laugh was hollow. "No one's going to find you, Maya. This well has been abandoned for 50 years. No one comes here. No one even remembers it exists." And she paused, and when she spoke again, her voice was almost gentle, which made it worse. "I'm sorry it had to be this way, but it's better for everyone. Mother and father will grieve, but they'll move on, and we'll finally have our lives back." "Please," Maya's voice was raw now, hoarse from screaming. "Please don't do this. I'm your sister. We're family. Doesn't that mean anything?" The 3 faces disappeared from the circle of light above. Maya heard rustling sounds, scraping sounds, then dirt began to fall down on her. First a little, then more, then a cascade of earth and stones that filled the air with choking dust. "No, no, no, no." Maya pressed herself against the wall, trying to avoid the falling debris, but there was nowhere to go. The well shaft was barely wide enough for her to stand. "Stop! Please stop! I can't breathe." But they didn't stop. The dirt kept coming, filling the well inch by inch, burying her alive. Maya's hair wrapped around her protectively, glowing so brightly it hurt to look at, but even magic couldn't stop the earth from claiming her. She screamed until her throat was raw, until death filled her mouth and nose, until the weight of the earth pressed down on her chest and she couldn't draw breath. Her hair flickered wildly, gold to blue to red to white, cycling through every emotion at once: love, betrayal, terror, despair. Above ground, the 3 sisters worked in grim silence. They shoveled until their arms ached, until the well was filled completely, until no trace remained of the opening except for a slight depression in the ground. Then they scattered leaves and branches over it, making it look as if nothing had ever been there at all. When they finally stopped, breathing hard and covered in dirt, they looked at each other. Marion was crying silently. Bella's face was pale as death. Tara stood with her arms wrapped around herself, staring at the ground where their sister lay buried. "We should go," Tara said finally, "before someone sees us here." They walked back through the forest in silence, each lost in their own thoughts. Behind them, the forest settled back into its usual sounds, birds singing, leaves rustling, life continuing as if nothing terrible had ever happened. But deep in the earth, in the crushing darkness, something stirred. Maya's hair, even buried under tons of soil, continued to glow, and somewhere in that darkness, something ancient and powerful took note. Maya didn't know how long she had been buried. Time lost meaning in the absolute darkness, where each breath was a struggle and every heartbeat felt like her last. The weight of the earth pressed down on her, crushing and suffocating, and she had long since stopped screaming. Her voice was gone. Her strength was fading. Her hair, once so vibrant, had dimmed to barely a flicker. "This is how I die," she thought. Alone, unloved, forgotten. But then something changed. She felt movement around her, not the settling of earth, but something deliberate, purposeful. That began shifting away from her face, creating a small pocket of air. She gasped, drawing in precious oxygen, hardly daring to hope. More earth moved, tunneling around her body with impossible precision. Within minutes, a space had been carved out large enough for her to sit up. Her hair, sensing freedom, blazed to life, illuminating her earthen prison. And there, perched on a root protruding from the wall, was the strangest creature she had ever seen. It was a monkey, but unlike any monkey from the village stories. Its fur was silver white, almost glowing in the darkness, and its eyes held an intelligence that was distinctly human. It tilted its head, studying her with what looked like concern. "Thank you," Maya whispered, her voice barely audible. "Thank you for saving me." To her shock, the monkey spoke. "You are welcome, child of light, but we must move quickly. This tunnel will not hold long, and the earth is hungry." Maya's eyes widened. "You can talk?" "I can do many things," the creature replied, already moving deeper into the tunnel it had created. "But explanations must wait. Follow me if you wish to live." Maya didn't need to be told twice. She crawled after the monkey through the narrow passage, her hair lighting the way. The tunnel twisted and turned, sometimes so tight she had to squeeze through, other times opening into small chambers where she could rest. The monkey moved with supernatural speed and certainty, always ahead, always guiding. They traveled for what felt like hours, moving through layers of earth and stone, past underground streams and caves Maya never knew existed. Finally, they emerged not into sunlight, but into a vast underground cavern, and rising from the center of that cavern was a tower, tall, ancient, built of smooth stone that seemed to absorb and reflect her hair's light at the same time. "What is this place?" Maya breathed. "Your sanctuary, a place forgotten by the world above, a place where you will be safe while you heal." He led her to a door at the tower's base, a door with no handle, no lock, yet it swung open at his touch. Inside, the tower was hollow, with a spiral staircase winding up and up into darkness. They climbed for what felt like hours, Maya's legs shaking with exhaustion, until they reached a room at the very top. It was circular, with windows cut into the stone that looked out over the underground cavern. There was a bed made of soft moss and leaves, a table carved from stone, and shelves filled with strange objects, crystals that glowed with inner light, books bound in leather, and bottles filled with liquids that shifted colors like her hair. "Rest now," the monkey said gently. "You are safe here. No one can reach this place without my guidance." Maya collapsed onto the bed, her body finally giving out. As consciousness faded, she heard the monkey's voice, soft and sad. "Sleep, little one. When you wake, perhaps I will tell you my story, as you will surely tell me yours." Days passed, or perhaps weeks. In the tower, time moved strangely. Maya slept deeply at first, her body recovering from the trauma of being buried alive. The monkey, who insisted she call him nothing but friend, cared for her with surprising tenderness. He brought her water from an underground spring that tasted sweeter than honey. He found mushrooms that glowed in the dark and fruits from trees that grew in the cavern shadows, nourished by some ancient magic. As Maya's strength returned, so did her questions. Why do you live here, all alone? Why can you speak? And how did you know I was buried? The monkey was quiet for a long time, staring out the window at the darkness beyond. Finally, he spoke. I was not always as you see me now. Once I was a man, a prince actually, of a kingdom far from here. Maya sat up straighter, her hair flickering with curiosity. A prince? Prince Adrian, he confirmed, his voice heavy with old sorrow. I was young, handsome, beloved by my people, but I was also foolish and vain. I cared more for my appearance than for kindness, more for admiration than for love. I broke hearts without thought, dismissed those I deemed beneath me, and believed my beauty made me superior. He turned to face her, and in his ancient eyes, Maya saw centuries of regret. A chantress came to my palace disguised as an old beggar woman. She asked for shelter, for food, for basic human kindness. I laughed at her. I mocked her appearance. I had my guards throw her out into the storm. He paused. She was testing me, of course, and I failed spectacularly. She cursed you, Maya whispered. She transformed me into the creature you see now and banished me to this forgotten place. She told me I would remain this way until I learned the true meaning of love, not the shallow affection I had received for my looks, but genuine love born of character and heart, until someone could see past this monstrous form and love me for who I truly am inside. Maya's hair glowed soft pink with empathy. That's so sad. How long have you been here? 200 years, he said simply. 200 years of solitude, of reflection, of slowly learning all the lessons I should have learned as a boy. I have watched the world above change through cracks in the earth. I have listened to the whispers of roots and stones, and I have waited, hoping that somehow, someday, the curse might break. Is that why you saved me? Maya asked. Because you thought I might be the one to break your curse? The monkey, Prince Adrian, shook his head. I saved you because I heard your pain, child. I felt your innocence through the earth itself. The ground told me of a bright soul being extinguished by darkness, and I could not allow it. After 200 years of learning compassion, how could I ignore suffering when I finally had the power to stop it? He smiled, a strangely human expression on his simian face. If there's any hope of breaking my curse, it will not be through manipulation or scheming. It will be through genuine connection. And if that never comes, well, at least I will have done some good in this long, strange life. Maya felt tears prick her eyes. Here was someone who truly understood, someone who knew what it meant to be judged for appearance rather than heart, to be isolated and misunderstood. Her sisters had rejected her for being different, for having something they didn't, but Prince Adrian accepted her completely, asking nothing in return. Over the following weeks, they fell into an easy companionship. Adrian taught her to read from his ancient books. She taught him the songs her mother used to sing. He showed her the secrets of the cavern, the glowing pools, the crystal gardens, and colonies of blind fish that swam in underground rivers. She told him stories of her village, her parents, and yes, even her sisters. Do you hate them? Adrian asked one evening as they sat by a pool of luminescent water. Maya's hair cycled through several colors before settling on thoughtful purple. I want to, she admitted, Part of me burns with anger when I think about what they did. But another part, she trailed off, searching for words. Another part remembers that they're still my sisters, that they weren't born cruel. Something broke inside them, twisted them into people capable of terrible things. And I wonder if I could have done something differently, been someone different to prevent it. That's the burden of the kind-hearted, always, Adrian said softly, always wondering if they could have saved those who hurt them. But Maya, listen carefully. What happened to you was not your fault. You did nothing wrong by being yourself. Their jealousy, their hatred, those were their choices, not yours. I know, Maya whispered, but knowing doesn't make it hurt less. They sat in comfortable silence, two wounded souls finding peace in each other's company. And slowly, carefully, something began to bloom between them. Not the dramatic passion of fairy tales, but something deeper and more genuine. Respect, understanding, trust, and perhaps, just perhaps, the beginning of love. 6 months had passed in the underground tower, and Maya had transformed from a frightened, broken girl into someone stronger, wiser, more complete. Her hair, which had once dimmed with sadness and fear, now glowed with quiet confidence. And Prince Adrian, she still thought of him as a prince despite his form, had become the truest friend she had ever known. One evening, as they watched the crystals in the cavern pulse with soft light, Maya turned to Adrian with sudden clarity. I need to go back. Adrian's face fell, though he tried to hide it. To the surface? To your village? Yes, she said firmly. I've been hiding here, healing here, and I'm grateful for that. But my parents, they must think I'm dead. They must be heartbroken. I can't let them suffer anymore when I'm alive and well. And your sisters? Adrian asked carefully. Maya's expression hardened. They made their choice. Now they'll face the consequences. Adrian was quiet for a long moment, then he stood, his small frame somehow seeming taller, more regal. Then I will go with you. You saved me, Maya, in ways you don't even realize. For 200 years, I existed in this darkness, and then you brought light, not just from your hair, but from your spirit. You've shown me what true goodness looks like, what genuine love means, and he hesitated, vulnerability clear in his ancient eyes. I cannot imagine my existence without you. Maya's hair blazed brilliant gold. She knelt down so they were eye to eye. You are the best person I have ever known, Adrian. Prince or monkey, curse or no curse, you have a heart more beautiful than any face could ever be. And then, without planning it, without thinking about curses or magic or fairy tale rules, she leaned forward and kissed him gently on his fairy forehead. The transformation was instantaneous and spectacular. Light exploded from Adrian's form, so bright that Maya had to shield her eyes. The cavern shook, crystals chiming like bells, water in the pools leaping and dancing. When the light faded, standing before her was a man. Tall and handsome, yes, but more importantly, wearing an expression of wonder and joy that made him truly beautiful. You broke it, he whispered, touching his own face in disbelief. After 200 years, you broke the curse. I didn't do anything special, Maya said, tears streaming down her face. I just loved you, as you are, as you've always been. Adrian pulled her into an embrace, and for the first time in either of their lives, they both felt completely, utterly accepted. They emerged from the forest 2 days later, hand in hand, Maya's hair streaming behind them like a banner of victory. The village fell silent as they approached. People stopped in the streets, staring at the girl who had vanished 6 months ago, now returned with a handsome stranger at her side. Maya's parents heard the commotion and rushed from their home. Her mother screamed and collapsed. Her father caught her, and then they were both running toward their lost daughter, weeping and calling her name. Maya! Oh gods, Maya! We thought you were dead! Her mother clutched her face, touching her as if to confirm she was real. We searched everywhere. Your sister said you ran away, that you were angry about the festival dress, but we knew something terrible had happened. Where have you been? Her father demanded, joy and anger mixing in his voice. What happened to you? Maya's eyes were hard as she looked past her parents to where 3 figures stood frozen in the doorway of their home. Ask them, she said coldly. Ask Tara, Bella, and Marion what happened to me. The color drained from her sisters' faces. Tara grabbed the door frame for support. Bella's mouth opened and closed soundlessly. Marion began to shake. What is she talking about? Her father turned to her older daughters. What does she mean? Nothing, Tara said quickly, her voice shrill. She's confused, father. She ran away and now she's making up stories. They buried me alive, Maya said, her voice carrying across the village square. People gasped. Her mother wailed. They told me they wanted to show me something special, lured me into the forest, threw me down an abandoned well, and buried me under tons of earth. They left me to die in the darkness. That's insane, Bella shrieked. She's lying. She's always been strange with her freak hair of hers, and now she's completely lost her mind. I'm not lying, Maya said softly, and you know it. Every word is true. You did this because you were jealous, because you couldn't stand that I was different, because you wanted me gone. Marion crumbled to the ground, sobbing. I'm sorry, she choked out. I'm so sorry, Maya. It was wrong. It was so wrong. I wanted to stop them, but I was weak and I hate myself for it. Shut up, Tara hissed, but it was too late. The confession had been made. Adrian stepped forward, and there was something in his bearing that commanded attention. I am Prince Adrian of the Eastern Realm. Your daughter speaks the truth. I found her dying in that well and gave her sanctuary in my home, and now I intend to make her my bride, if she will have me. She will be a princess, loved and honored as she should have been all along. The village erupted in chaos, people shouting questions, Maya's parents weeping, her sisters screaming denials. In the confusion, Tara made a desperate choice. She lunged forward, pulling a knife from her belt, the same knife she had used to cut rope, to dig earth, to end her sister's life once before. If I couldn't have peace with you alive then, I certainly can't have it now, she screamed, and she grabbed Maya's hair, that beautiful, magical hair, and began to hack at it with savage strokes. Maya screamed as her hair fell away in chunks, but something was happening, something terrible and magical. Each severed strand didn't die. Instead, it writhed and twisted, transforming into a living snake with gleaming scales and venomous fangs. Within seconds, dozens of serpents surrounded Maya, hissing and coiling, their eyes fixed on the 3 sisters who had done this terrible thing. What have you done? Adrian shouted, trying to reach Maya through the sea of snakes. But it was too late. Maya's body was changing, hardening, turning gray and cold. Her skin became stone, her eyes lost their light, and within moments she stood frozen, a perfect statue with snakes for hair, forever trapped in an expression of betrayal and pain. No, Adrian fell to his knees. No, no, no! Maya, come back, please! The village watched in horror as the 3 sisters backed away from the snakes, which pursued them with terrifying purpose. Bella tripped and fell, and the serpents swarmed over her, their fangs bared. But before they could strike, Adrian raised his hand. Stop! His voice rang with royal authority. I am still a prince, and I carry the magic of my own curse within me. I command you to halt. The snakes froze, their heads swaying, but their fangs withdrawn. Adrian stood, tears streaming down his face, and approached the statue that had been his beloved Maya. He placed his hands on the cold stone, feeling the magic that had transformed her. It was ancient, powerful, a curse born from betrayal and hatred, sealed by the cutting of her miraculous hair. 200 years I waited for true love to break my curse, and when I finally found it, when I finally knew what it meant to love and be loved, this happens. He pressed his forehead against hers. But love doesn't give up. Love doesn't accept defeat. Love endures. He kissed her stone lips, pouring everything he felt into that touch. His gratitude for her kindness, his admiration for her strength, his genuine deep love for the person she was. And as he did, something shifted. The magic recognized what Maya's sisters never could, that true love sees past appearance, past curses, past stone and snakes, and all the darkness in the world. Light burst from Maya's form. The stone cracked and fell away like a shell. Her hair, which had been wreathing serpents, transformed back into glowing golden strands, longer now, more lustrous, infused with power that came from surviving the unsurvivable. She drew a gasping breath and collapsed into Adrian's arms. "You came back," he sobbed. "You came back to me." "Always," she whispered, "as you came back for me." The village erupted in cheers, but Adrian's face was grim as he turned to the three sisters who cowered before him. The snakes, still under his command, formed a circle around them. "You tried to kill your sister twice," Adrian said, his voice cold as winter. "You acted from jealousy, from hatred, from pure evil, and for that there must be justice." He raised his hand, and the magic that still thrummed through the air responded. Bella and Tara found themselves transformed, not into stone, but into servants, bound by magical compulsion to serve in Adrian's palace, to spend their lives in labor and penance, never being able to harm another soul.
But for Marion, who had at least shown remorse, Adrian offered a choice. You may join your sisters in servitude, or you may stay here and care for your parents in their old age, making amends through dedication and love. Choose. "I'll stay," Marion whispered. "I'll spend every day trying to make up for what I've done." As for Tara, the eldest and most unrepentant, Adrian's judgment was more severe. "You will become a statue yourself," he declared, "placed at the gate of my palace as a warning to all who would harm the innocent out of jealousy. You will stand there until you truly understand the evil of what you've done, and only then, if that day ever comes, will the stone release you." The transformation took only seconds. Tara's scream was cut short as she froze in place, her face locked in an expression of fury and fear. Adrian turned to Maya's parents, who watched in stunned silence. "Your daughter will come with me to my kingdom. She will be my princess, my partner, my queen. But she will visit you often, and you will always have a place in our palace if you wish it." Maya embraced her parents one final time, whispering forgiveness and love. Then she took Adrian's hand, and together they walked toward their new life. Two people who had been cursed and broken, who had found each other in darkness, and who had proved that love, genuine and true, could overcome any evil. Behind them, the village slowly returned to normal, but they never forgot the girl with golden hair or the terrible price of jealousy. A moral lesson. Sometimes, the people who should love us most are the ones who hurt us deepest, but their cruelty says nothing about our worth and everything about the darkness in their own hearts. True love, the kind that sees us, accepts us, and cherishes who we really are, can break any curse and heal any wound. Hold on to your light, even when others try to bury it. Kindness and authenticity will always triumph over jealousy and hatred. And remember, your differences are not flaws to hide, but gifts to celebrate. The right people will love you not despite who you are, but because of who you are. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and tell us what you learned in the comments below.